Players aren't happy with how often we try to shake up the game. So we should shake up the game. Hey there, kids, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, and that you are having a great day. And in today's video, we're going to be sitting back in my very squeaky chair and having a little relaxing conversation about the brand newerest format from Konami Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. Earlier today, and I hope that this video gets to you guys shortly after I record it. Earlier today, Konami officially released a brand new format that they're calling Yugioh GENESYS. Here are the basic quick rules. No link monsters. No pendulum monsters. It uses the original field layout, so no pendulum zones, no link zones, nothing like that. The standard ban list and the limited list, they're both gone. No limited cards, no banned cards. Everything goes. You can only use 3 copies of a card, though, as per basic rules. So, that right there, that would be a huge red flag. Is this just a ban list less format? No. No, it's not just a ban list less format, which is a tongue twister to say if I ever heard one. No, instead, this new format, Yugioh GENESYS, uses a point system. Players have a standard points of, you got 100 points to work with. Most cards in the game are worth 0 points, but there's a laundry list of cards worth anywhere from 5 to 100 points based on the card itself and how powerful Konami perceives that card in particular to be. That's right. This is basically Canadian Highlander, but in Yu-Gi-Oh! The Gathering. This is a pretty big and pretty interesting announcement, mostly for the fact that, you don't really get to see new formats pop into existence all that often, especially not in Yu-Gi-Oh!, a game that has historically only ever had a handful of official formats. There's, There's the traditional ban list, standard ban list, there's the there's Speed Duels, there's Time Wizard, and then there's this, right? That's it, as far as I'm aware. So a brand new format using new format rules is kind of a big deal, and it shows that Konami really is trying to throw a lot of things at the wall to see what sticks. Because, yeah, this the very first thought to enter my head upon hearing the news that this was a real format and not just a fan-made format, because when I first saw it, I thought it was just some sort of fan-made format. But no, it's real. And the first thought then was, wow, Konami really is just trying to shake things up. Because, look, earlier this year they tried messing with Time Wizard and nobody liked that. Everyone was pretty upset about it. You know, they've had a slew of releases for their current standard format, which have not had the best reception. I mean, these sets are coming out and tanking in price pretty much right away. And at the end of last year, they officially shelved Speed Duel as a format because it just was not selling as much as they hoped it would. So to me, this just seems like Konami's newest attempt to try and shake things up, keep Yu-Gi-Oh! Going just a bit longer, and bring the game just a bit more relevance. A new meta could in theory mean new decks, could in theory mean a whole new tournament. What's the right word? Crowd? No. I'm struggling to think of the word, but like tournament fans. Boom, there we go. Like people who are super into a particular format. And yeah, don't get me wrong, Speed Duel did have its diehard fans. I'm not denying that. But there just weren't enough of them out there to keep it going. Perhaps GENESYS, since it doesn't even require its own product, there's not a separate product line for this as far as I'm aware, perhaps GENESYS can break the mold and go on to be its own unique thing. 2 more observations I noted just upon looking at the official article, and I will post the article in the description down below so you guys can go read it. 2 things I noted that were pretty interesting is the list itself is not as large as I thought it would be. In fact, there are cards that I think are just flat out missing from the point buy list. With no forbidden or limited cards, you can just play 3 copies of any card so long as they don't have any points associated with them, right? looking through the list, Exodia is not on the list. To the best of my knowledge, none of the 5 pieces of Exodia have any point values associated with them. To make matters worse, looking through the list, some cards have a point value ascribed to them that I don't think is reflective of their true power. For instance, Heavy Storm. Now keep in mind, I don't play modern Yu-Gi-Oh! So before any of you guys come out here and say how this card is actually totally busted or whatever, Heavy Storm has 100 points, okay? And Heavy Storm is not that great a card, in my opinion. It destroys all spell and trap cards in the field. Whoop-de-frickin-do, right? It's just a strictly inferior Harpy's Feather Duster. It's my opinion. Heavy Storm is 100 points. So if you were building a deck and you wanted to have some point-based cards in your deck, you couldn't because you were playing Heavy Storm. Bit of a weird choice, in my opinion. What's weirder is Pot of Greed only being worth 30 points. Now, I don't know about you guys, but in Yu-Gi-Oh!, in my opinion, in Yu-Gi-Oh!, the best resource you have is the card you draw throughout your turn. Since there's no other resource system built into the game, you're only limited by your hand. Pot of Greed giving you 2 free new cards from the deck is, in my opinion, infinitely better than just about any other card in the game because it gets you almost any other card in the game. Obviously, barring fusions, synchros, XZs, etc. You know, it doesn't get you your extra deck cards for free, but it does give you the cards that let you play them much easier. In my opinion, Pot of Greed would be the $100 point cost card, and Heavy Storm would be the 30 point cost card. And maybe you guys agree with me, and maybe you don't, but I could not see a world where Pot of Greed is rated as weaker or less impactful as a card than Heavy Storm. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Make it make sense to me. Maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe I just don't, understand the intricacies of Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. But I always felt like Pot of Greed was the way better card. And there's a bunch of little examples like this throughout the ban list, and it results in a situation like, why would you not play Exodia? That wasn't a sarcastic question. I'm legitimately asking if you have the ability to play 3 Pot of Greeds or 2 Pot of Greeds and a Graceful Charity, because Graceful Charity is 40 points. If you have the ability to play 3 Pot of Greeds and 3 copies of each of the Exodia pieces, why wouldn't you? Why would you not just play a super... I forgot to check if Toon Table of Contents is on the list. I should have looked for that too. Toon Table of Contents, Royal Magical Library, 3 Pot of Greeds. That's like a free Exodia deck right there. Why would you not play that? Maybe with all the crazy cards out there, maybe, there's a lot of countering to spell-based draw power and such, but I don't know. To me, it seems like a done deal. Maybe there's just something I don't know about the modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta. But, I don't know. It just seems like some of the cards weren't balanced. And again, I'm going to repeat this one more time. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I just don't know the real power level of modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, and these examples I'm giving are actually out-of-date cards that no one would ever play. I'm fully willing to accept that. I'm fully willing to accept that maybe I'm just dead wrong, but I do think it feels like Konami did not do a lot of play testing with this idea. And maybe that's fine. Maybe as the format is played more, they will update and change the rules list and the point system to reflect the actual strength of the cards on it, or the strength of cards that aren't currently on it. Maybe things will change. Maybe Konami will update it as time goes on. But I'm also kind of worried that this is just a thing that Konami will put out there, release as is, and not do anything else for it. They're not going to update it. They're not going to properly prize support it. That's a thing. That is something that I'm kind of worried about, that they just won't care for the format, and in 6 months to a year, nobody's going to be talking about it. That is a genuine concern of mine. Another thing that I want to talk about is this is clearly an attempt by Konami to try to breathe some fresh air into Yu-Gi-Oh! As a game, especially on a tournament level. And that's fine. Question. Why aren't they just giving us Rush Duels? Konami, I don't know how much more clear I could be about this, but Rush Duels is a fresh, new, innovative way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! It is for all intents and purposes, a return to Yu-Gi-Oh! How it was maybe 15 years ago. There's a lot of people who are a huge fan of Rush Duels. It has its own format, its own gimmicks, its own unique ways of playing, and there's a lot of people, especially stateside, who would really appreciate it if you just give us Rush Duels. I understand apprehension of bringing a brand new product overseas, but it feels like Rush Duels would give us exactly what you're trying to give us here with new format attempts, trying to change things up. If you're trying to get people to play a different format and bring more eyes to the game, maybe giving us a brand new game in the form of Rush Duels would be what works. I don't know. Might just be me. Maybe I'm just a crazy guy in his garage screeching about Rush Duels for the next 5 years. But I personally like Rush Duels, and I'd really like it if we got an English release for Rush Duels. So Konami, maybe next time you're thinking about creating a new format, give Rush Duels a piece of your mind. But with my little patented once per Yu-Gi-Oh video Rush Duel rant over, what do you guys think of Yu-Gi-Oh GENESYS? It's a strange name to say the least. What do you guys think? Do you think the point buy system is going to work? Do you think it's going to flounder and flop and be gone in a year? I'm curious to know. Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Comment down below. I already said that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.